Do you think that food can work like a medicine for our body? Do you think that even our body needs to reboot from time to time like the electronic devices? If yes, then this episode is for you. In this episode, we talk to Dr. Narendra Shetty, who is the Chief Wellness Officer of Kshemavana. Kshemavana is an institute which is based in Bangalore, which focuses on the naturopathy and yoga for the holistic health. Shamana offers a lot of therapies, and every therapy is scientifically proven. We talk to Dr. Shetty about a lot of subjects like the change in lifestyle, diet, even the epigenetics. That whatever we are eating today can impact the health of our great grandchildren. We also discussed about a research which has prompted an investigation into the potential link between the acidic diets and the calcium depletions from the bone. And of course, eventually it leads to the osteoporosis, which is a bone disease. So keep watching to find that, whatever we discussed with Dr. Shetty and just enjoy the nuggets of information. Dr. Shetty, welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Since you are the Chief Wellness Officer of Shemvana, and Shemvana, if we really break down this word into two parts, so Shem means health and Vana is the forest. So health,
Correct.
forest. So this particular premises is situated in the Bangalore, and where you guys are focusing upon the five pillars, the five main parts of the body, like which we recently talked about, of course, such as your mind, body, and soul, sleep energy, food energy, medicine energy, and gut health. But
Correct.
today we are going to most talk about the food side of it, since there was some research which is going on, and then which prompted to an investigation where this is talking about a direct link between the acidic diet and the depletion in the calcium depletion in the bones, which of course ultimately leads to your osteoporosis, which is a bones disease. So
Correct.
what is this research, what is this investigation which is going on? Can you please elaborate, maybe can throw some light on this?
See, today, what we are all facing in our society is the disease demography has changed. Okay. We see a lot of lifestyle related diseases which is overtaking the rest of the health conditions. When we talk about the lifestyle related diseases, one of the reason where we see maximum amount of the people today come is osteoporosis. People where they come with age, we call it as age related degenerative diseases. Out of all these age related degenerative diseases, the osteoporosis where which is directly linked to the availability of the calcium in your body. So calcium is very much integral part of your body which is required. Unfortunately, it is never manufactured. It has to be supplemented through your food and the other supplements. But when we see over a period of time, what was happening is today, there was a study in the epigenetics which says your great grandchildren's health is defined by what you eat today. That is how important it is. So similarly, what is happening is because of our lifestyle, the kind of the food what we are eating, it is bringing a huge amount of change in the biochemistry of our body. Now, there is a recently there are a couple of research which has been shown that the food, when your food is body is you are taking the food which is rich in acidic content, what we talk about the daily acidic load from your food, it is bringing a lot of changes in the biochemistry which directly link to the metabolism as well as the bone density in our body. Now, when we talk about the bone density, the bone becomes the one of the calcium is stored in the body as a bone. But calcium is also has a lot of other functions in our body. It helps in the muscle contraction. It helps in the nerve conduction. It helps in the permeability of your cells. It helps in the muscle contractions. So there are a lot of other activities happens in the with the help of the calcium. Now, whenever there is an amount of a depletion in the calcium in your blood, the body looks at where is the source of the calcium, where I can get the calcium from. Now, the calcium is stored in your bones, so it takes a immediately start taking out the calcium out of your body. Now, when we are looking at food, there are certain amount of the acidic food. What are those acidic foods are? Meat, the poultry, the fish, dietary, egg, grains, and alcohol is considered to be a more acidic food. So when you take such food which is rich in these, causes an increased load of acidic load in your body. Now we also have a neutral food, which is the sugar, the starch, the fat. They are all very neutral in nature. But while the food which is rich in fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, they all considered to be a low acidic load in your body. So when you take a food which is very low acidic, then your blood, your the metabolic process which is more becomes base. We know that there is an acid and base in seven. When the pH is about 7.2, we call it as more neutral in nature. The lower the pH, your body becomes more acidic. The higher the pH, it becomes the base. So whenever your blood, or whenever your body has taken the food with a very high acidic load, your blood becomes acidic, then there becomes a direct impact on your body in the absorption of the calcium. Now we say that calcium is not manufactured in the body, it has to be absorbed through your nutritive food. Now even in the food, you see that there is only a 25 to 30% of the calcium is really absorbed. That is where you need to see that it is not about the food which is you are rich in calcium, but it is also equally important that your body maintains a low, very, it is alkalinity has to be higher, so that your body absorbs good amount of the calcium, and it maintains your bone integrity. So the bones are the structure. We know that every 10 years, your whole bone structure changes. But still, you are 25 to 35 years of the age. That is the time your bones has a very high density. But as the age progresses, your calcium, your bone becomes little more, the bone density goes down, your bone becomes more brittle, and you are more prone to the accidents. You are more prone in terms of the osteoporosis. You are more prone to come with a lot of joint related diseases. When we have these joint related diseases, our mobility becomes less. When our mobility becomes less, your strength which is being supported by the muscles start getting weak. Then there is a more workload, then it leads to a kind of a disability where you are not in a position to walk or any kind of an activity. So we see there is a direct link between the acid base in your gut, directly linked to the calcium absorption. So it is, we always said, even if you see in your primitive man, when he was living in a forest, he used to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Then he became a hunter gatherer. That is where your body has got a lot of meats. Then he become, when he started living in a village, he become lazy. He didn't want to grow a lot of fruits and vegetables. He found out the shortest way is to grow the grains. Now from the fruits and vegetables, he has become an hunter gatherer. He become started eating the meat. Then he started eating the grains. So that is where you see there is a sudden drastic change in the bone density over a period of time. Now, earlier man used to have a strenuous exercises. They used to do walk, run, and they should do a lot of activities. But we are becoming very sedentary in life. So even at our Kshemavana, when we give the lot of sadhakas the food, we follow a grain-free diet. It is one of the reason for choosing the grain-free diet is to improve, heal your leaky gut. The second is to bring down your chronic inflammation in your body. And the third one is to bring that acid base balance within the food. And while we are selecting the fruits and vegetables, we always see that the fruits and vegetables, what we have selected, which very high nutritive density, plus at the same time, it has a very low, acidic load. So these are all the things. We also see that there is a multi-prone approach to ensure that your body is moving from a stress response to the relaxation response. Our healing ideology is When body is under a stress response, your body's innate ability to heal itself is switched off. When you shift your body from a stress response to the relaxation response, your body's innate ability to heal itself is switched on. So while you are shifting your body from a stress response to the relaxation response, we also ensure that managing the stress. See, when you look at the stress also plays a very, very important role in managing the calcium levels in the bones, because stress, due to the stress, there is a lot of corticosteroids called cortisols are flooded within our body. These corticosteroids, the cortisols, are also obstructs the absorption and metabolism of the calcium. So it is very important that, while we are working on a holistic approach, we give importance to the each and every scientific evidences which is today it is available within us, to ensure that we bring that into our practice. So we purely follow a evidence based treatment protocol. So while we have developed the evidence based treatment protocol, we have given good amount of importance to ensure that, this acid base balance has to be brought in, and this scientific evidence has to be, knowledge has to be brought into the practice, so that, common man gets benefit out of it.
Such a great explanation. One thing, which, very pertinent, and then which crosses my mind is that, you talked about the epigenetics, that, whatever you are eating today will, of course, impact your great grandchildren's health.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
I want to understand one thing from you. What is the age that, when one should really start focusing upon one's diet? Because you know it that, while you are young, you really want to enjoy each and every meal available on earth, irrespective it is veg or non-veg, depending upon person's preferences. But you really do not want to stay away from a certain things at when you are very young, like, when you are
Correct,
still healthy. So,
correct.
should one wait really that, okay, whenever I'll get ill, then I'll go to maybe Kshemavana, or maybe I'll go to the doctor or wherever, or is there a certain age when one should really start focusing upon, like, acidic, non-acidic diets, alkaline diets, neutral diets?
It is very difficult question, because health is not a commodity that we can buy it over the chemist. Today COVID has taught us all this. You need to invest your time, energy in acquiring a good health. All these years, we always used to blame the genes. Array, oh, it is genetic. Your parents has the heart disease, and all brothers and sisters, they will say that after 40 you start taking the medicines to make sure that your blood flow is normal. You start taking antihypertensive drugs. Your brother has already had a heart attack, and you start taking the cholesterol lowering medications. All those things are there. Now, in an ideal scenario, our body has a certain amount of the energy to overcome all the abuses over a period of time. But at least at the, once you cross 40, I think that is the time we say that all these years body has taken care of you. Now it is your turn, you start taking care of your body. But when we look at the certain studies, they always say that even with 7 days of a lifestyle change can bring a huge amount of change through the epigenetics. We think that, do you require a month or 3 months? There are certain amount of studies been shown that even if you can able to follow a 7 days of strict regime, you will be able to press a reset button in your body, so that body goes into a different mode, and it start rejuvenating itself. Now what we tend to do is, we know that there are certain amount of aches and pains. What does it say? It is a signs of a body saying that there is something is going wrong, buddy. Take care of it. No, if you ensure that we take a pause, go back, take an expert advice, and then you recalibrate your lifestyle, then you are set forever. But what we tend to do is, we tend to carry those pains. Are no pain, nain gain, koi problem nahi hai. I will just continue with this pain for a few more days. I take some anti-inflammatory and analgesic drugs, and then pain disappears. But that slow poison, the chronic inflammation, is there in your body throughout. Unless and until you address that chronic inflammation, you will not going to solve the problem. So when you address the chronic inflammation, again, the calcium, the acid, and alkalinity also is helps to develop the anti-inflammatory effect on our body. When you infuse your body with a lot of alkaline food, it also helps you to bring, it is not only about the calcium absorption, it also brings the chronic inflammation much lower in our body.
Okay. I was going through one of a LinkedIn post. Okay. In that LinkedIn post, I got to know that, there was a time back in like, maybe 60s and 70s when there were companies really promoting sugar like anything. Like, one should consume sugar because it is good for health.
Correct.
uh, Over a period of time, we saw that we were making the villain out of the sugar, and then there was a time that sugar was good, but now we are making a villain of the out of the sugar.
Correct.
Today, while we were talking, you also mentioned, and even I have read that sugar is a neutral food. But at the end of the day, all of us are trying to stay away from sugar as much as possible. So
Awesome.
likewise these proteins for that matter, back in maybe 2000, there was a time when people were talking a lot about protein, but suddenly like today we have started discussing over that not too much protein is good for the body. If you are not doing enough exercises, maybe enough protein is not even good for your body. So likewise, I really want to understand that what is the moderate that diet or the balanced diet one should really have on a regular basis, where if my body is ill, I'm not keeping well, maybe I need to go to the doctor, maybe I need to look for some um, uh, um, habitation centers where I can go, and then maybe I can just cleanse my body. But what is that balanced diet which really one can keep taking throughout one's life without even bothering about too much about, rather to say that okay, too much sugar hai, okay, too much protein hai, okay, too much calcium hai, okay, too much acidic diet hai. So what is that balanced diet which one can really take?
See, during the period of last 3 to 4 decades, our lifestyle has changed. I always, when I was talking to my sadhakas, I give an example. My grandfather was also a doctor. He was living in a very rural villages of Western Ghats. If I look at his diet, he used to eat rice. Morning is a ganji. It's a good heap of ganji with coconut chutney. That is the normal breakfast. Even though you make rice, idli, dosa, he will not eat. He will eat only those ganji. It is good amount of carbohydrate and hardly any fibers in that chutney. It is coconut chutney. Now, when you come for the lunch, he has a good amount of rice again, good heap of boiled rice, and a sambar. That is the normal staple for the lunch. Evening, again, he will have a ganji, and there may be a small fish, fried fish, or chutney. This is a kind of the food what he used to eat. Now, whenever anybody comes home, what they used to do, whenever they serve the water, they never used to serve the water only. They will give a small piece of jaggery along with the water. First, they give the jaggery, they chew the jaggery, only then they will drink the water. All throughout the day, people, whenever they have at home, there is a mud pot with the water, which is side by side. There is a jaggery box also where people can pick up and so. But they never suffered from any diabetes. Now, when I see my father again, he was also been following the same kind of a diet, which is the morning. His even though there is a idli dosa, he will never eat. He will eat rice, afternoon rice, dinner rice. But today, if I eat the same food, believe me, within 1.5 or 2 months, probably my blood sugar will also show me that I am in the borderline. Now, why? Now, how do we say that? The reason behind is when our great grandfathers were living, they were not undergoing the tremendous amount of the stress what we go through today. You will not believe today a common man goes through an average of about 70 stress response in a day, while they might have gone through about 5 to 10 stress response. So over a period of time today, the as the society, as we are going through an evolution within our lifestyle, we have to gradually adopt to our food. So the food which was good for my grandfather may not be good for me. Now, what food is good for me may not be good for my children's and my great grandchildren's. So, the reason why it is, now our genes have not changed, but gene expression has changed. Your epigenetic says your gene expression changes depending upon the environment we are living in. What is that environment? We are living in an environment with a tremendous amount of stress today. Now, can we change our society? Can we change our family? Can we change our workplace? Can we change our traffic? Can we change our pollution? No, I'm sorry, we cannot change any of that. But you can able to build your own resilience within your body, so that you can able to adopt, your body can adapt to all these stress responses, so that you can able to lead a healthy life. Today, 95% of the disease is not caused because of the genes. It is purely caused because of the stress. Unless and until you manage the stress, there is no question of reversal of your chronic diseases. Now, again, when I know that I'm going through a stress, I should ensure that what food do I eat which is right for me. Now, today, since we all know that there is a heavy amount of carbohydrate load, I will cut down my carbohydrate load. I will ensure that my carbohydrate load should not be more than 20%. The rest of the 30 to 40% is raw fruits and vegetables where I have good amount of fibers. Then comes is another 20 to 30% becomes rich in protein. It can get it from the pulses, the lentils, and all those, the milk products, be it as a paneer or yogurt or any of those kind of things. So you require to understand how your lifestyle is currently, and ensure that you take the good amount of balanced protein. Now, going back, again I go back, how much amount of sweet, even though they used to have a jaggery, the sweet is prepared only on the festivals. That is the time we cook the payasam or any kind of sweets. But today, sweets are there in every dinner table. So over intake of sugar is also very dangerous. Anything which is in moderation is the best. So we need to see that how do we acclimatize our body, what is the lifestyle we are leading. No, if you are doing an activity where it involves a lot of physical activity, then yes, you need to have a good amount of supplements of protein, because proteins are your building blocks. If you do not take enough amount of the protein, I'm sure that it will affect in the long run in terms of that. But at the same time, if you take, a lot of people go to a crash diet, they took a very high protein diet. Now when you take a very high protein diet, you're putting more amount of pressure on your kidney and other organs to put more work. Now, one way you say that protein is good, but anything in a moderation is very, 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 very important. We need to see that our food what our grandparents eat, food our parents eat, food we eat, there is a lot of drastic changes, not because of any reason. One, because of the stress what we go through. Second is the physical activity what we have. Today we have more mental work. We hardly get up out of our chairs. We will hardly move anywhere. Even in the when from the bus, metro stations to your home, it is even for 1 or 2 kilometer. We prefer to take an auto, or we prefer to take a cab, because we have become our lifestyle has become very sedentary. Exercise, again, one of the very, very important aspects in our day to day life. We, unless and until we exercise, today you see that many of our sadhakas, the patients who come, we see that there is the joint pain is because of the muscle weakness. Why muscle weakness? Because there is hardly any kind of physical activity with them. So earlier, physical activity is a part of the life. Now it has become a treatment ritual for each and every one of us.
What I could really understand is that, one size doesn't fit all. So,
Absolutely.
one kind of a diet is
Absolutely.
not good for everybody. Like,
Absolutely.
if you have five members in the family, I think all five members' needs are different when it comes to the
Correct.
diet.
Correct. 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 Correct.
I really want to know more about now Kshemavana because while I was going through the Kshemavana's website, I really found that how it focuses upon the holistic health. So can you please elaborate maybe more on that? And then two, in case say if somebody is going through a critical illness, terminal illness, maybe like cancer, so can even those be treated with maybe a change in diet?
See, our president, Dr. D. Virendra Hegde, he started naturopathy and yoga almost about 35 years back. He started the Institute of Naturopathy and Yoga with a three-bedded hospital in Dharmasthala, in the temple town. Then he started seeing the results from the patients, and he started moving on to the 100-bedded. Then it became a 500-bedded hospital where we all graduated from. Post that, he started his second institute in Manipal, which is called Parika. Again, it is started with 100 bedded, and today it is about 400 bedded. His third venture is in Bangalore, where he wanted to bring a new perspective to the naturopathy and yoga. According to him, he says there is a tremendous amount of money, energy he is being utilized in understanding a lot of scientific research evidences on traditional medicine. Now, who did this traditional medicine? It is not done by the naturopaths, or they have done. I don't say that they have not done, but if you look at majority of your research publications are done by the Western doctors in our Western countries. But unfortunately, what happens is these evidence always research publication remains in your research book. It never reaches to the common man. He says, unless and until any money you spent on the research, if it doesn't reaches to the common man, the whole purpose has been defeated. So what he suggested is, doctor, when I joined, my first task he has given to me is that I wanted to bring a new perspective. I wanted to bring the evidence-based treatment protocol to be practically brought into the practice and ensure that our common man gets benefit out of it. So on the basis of that, what we did, we took about team of about 10 doctors. We spent about 2.5 years in just doing the literature survey. We didn't. He said, don't get into the research. You use the material which is already available in the public domain. So we found out. Then we said that the lot of naturopathy hospitals, we have many number of treatment protocols. It is a big shopping list. You have hydrotherapy, you have magnetotherapy, you have physiotherapy, you have the yoga, you have meditation. You list about 50 to 60 different kinds of elements, treatment modalities. So we wanted to declutter the mind of the customer and giving it naturopathy and yoga more evidence backed by the science. This is no more an occult science, and which is relevant to the common man today. So we wanted to develop our own healing ideology, as I explained earlier. So when we what we believe is body has got its own recuperative power to cure its own diseases. What is important is you give scope for the healing. How do you do that? Is when your body is under a stress response, your body's innate ability to heal itself is switched off. So when you shift your body from a stress response to the relaxation response, your body's innate ability to heal itself is switched on. Now, how do we achieve it? Now, majority of the time, what happens is, I have worked in the corporate world. We invest a lot of amount of money in developing, creating the brand, but that brand never get translated into an experience. Then the whole purpose is defeated. So we took about the 5 pillars of well-being. So we call it as a mind-body medicine is our first pillar. Sleep medicine is our second pillar. Nutrition as a medicine is the third pillar. Energy medicine is our fourth pillar, and gut health is the sixth pillar. One of the mistakes people do is, moment they come to the naturopathy center, they will stop the medication. They should not do it. So we work together. It is called as an integrated approach, where people can go back to their physician, adjust their medication over a period of time. I'm sure any allopathy doctors would see the improvement in their lifestyle and the blood test, where they can see the before and after the treatments. Then they will be able to remodulate your dosages. Now, preventive, the curative, and the rehab. But other than that, we also introduce the retreat programs. Now, many of the times people come, they undergo a 7 days of treatments, they go back. But how do we educate them? What we do is we do 3 to 5 days intensive retreat programs focusing on one individual subject. Our first retreat was a breath work. We know that how do we fix the breath? Breath is an important part of our practice. So we did about 3 days of breath work retreat. The second retreat we introduced was the gut health, where we will be having a classroom setup as well as theory, practical, and the practice. All the things we do it together, where we understand the whole physiology of the human body, how the gut microbiome works, and how the gut microbiome affects your sleep, affects your how the stress affects your gut microbiome, how sleep affects your gut microbiome, how the imbalances in energy affects your gut microbiome, how your food habits affects your gut microbiome, and how your yoga and physical activity affects your gut microbiome. We give them an in-depth understanding and scientific information which is relevant for the gut health, and then it becomes easy for them to understand and practice at home. The next retreat we did for the love your liver, because liver is one of the organ which you always tend to forget. We know that liver plays a very very important role. We call it as a chemical factory of our body. So liver, the retreat we did for 3 days. And also the next retreat we are doing on the meditation has a tremendous effect on our healing process. Many of the times what happened in a meditation is most of the time wrongly understood. So we are working on a 4 days of meditation retreat where we take you through the different steps of the meditation. Rather than just teaching one meditation technique for 4 days, you take them through the different steps, make them understand what is the meaning of the stillness, how your body can able to benefit in practicing the in yoga. Then we take them to the breath practices. How do you channelize your energies? How do you correct your abdominal breathing? What do you mean by the deep breathing? What do you mean by the different relaxation techniques? Then we take them to the different kinds of awareness. It could be a different schools of yoga. Then we bring gradually take them to the final stages of meditation techniques. So when you go through a different steps of the meditation, it is easy for individual to understand what are the scientific basis, why should we do, how he should do, and how it is going to get benefit out of it. So similarly, these retreat programs can able to bring a huge amount of transformation in our society. Just giving the treatments, explaining the diet, and sending them back will not going to solve the purpose. They have to adopt these lifestyle over a period of time. How do we do it? You need to brainwash them. You need to tell them that what is the science behind it. Once you are get convinced, there is no reason why you will not follow those techniques. So these are all 4 different kinds of offerings what we give it at Kshemavana, which helps us to stand out of the competition. Until today, we have not done any major kind of an advertisement. Our all sadhakas are coming because of different parts of the world, only because of the word of mouth and also through the referrals. So that is our core strength as of now.
One thing, of course, is for sure that changing a lifestyle is a must in case if you really want to live a healthy life. And I'm
100%.
very sure that it is going to be a life changing experience for somebody who enrolls
Correct,
for any of
correct,
the
correct,
programs or the retreats of Shambhana.
correct,
And
correct.
and I believe one more thing that it is like a time to just keep pressing the reset button time to time before it is too late.
Body knows to take care of it. It requires that pressing the reset button once in a while. So that is the key thing what we need to work on.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Dr. Shetty, for sharing these nuggets of knowledge. It is this entire episode, I believe, is full of knowledge about the food, how to take care of the body, what is good to eat, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much. It was indeed such a pleasure talking to you, and I really appreciate your time and giving me this opportunity to share. By the end of the day, this knowledge should reach out to the common man. They should be able to listen to it and get benefit out of it. So this is the karma which spreads all throughout the world. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so very
And
much.
thank you.
Thank you.